never actually went to school for animation. I got my degree in physics, which hasn't done me a lot of good. Except, well, I had a job for a year, which the pain and suffering probably inspired a lot of comedy. I just started doing it. I got some books on it, and I bought an old camera and just started messing around with it. I was really trying to get into comedy. I wasn't trying to get a job as an animator. I knew it wasn't good enough, but I used to go to all the animation festivals, and I would see shorts that were well animated and some that were funny but weren't well animated, and I just thought I might be able to get something in an animation festival. Right off the bat, I made two animated shorts. One was a character, Milton, that I later made, used in this movie, Office Space. Actually, the original short was called Office Space, and then I did another one that was just kind of like a fat redneck guy watching a health food commercial. And I did these two together, just really cheap.
Oh, there's that stapler I've been looking for here. Let me just go ahead and get that from you. Thanks. Well, okay, so if you could go ahead and just get to that as soon as possible, that'd be terrific. Well, all right. Thanks a bunch, Milton. Okay. Bye-bye. Well.
And so I had this VHS tape with two cartoons in it, and I just mailed a bunch of them. It's called information. Like, I felt really stupid. I was in Dallas, outside of Dallas, Texas, and I just, MTV, please, and just got the address and just sent about 15 of them out, and within a couple weeks I got all these calls. It was amazing. And I was like, I don't know how old I was, 27, 28. And I just thought, man, I should have done this when I was 19. When I'm drawing in sketchbooks, for some reason I just tend to draw a lot of like middle-aged white guy bubbas, like that we call them in Texas. I'd had this idea for a long time of just like, I don't know, four guys standing around drinking beers. I ended up doing a kind of a panel cartoon of just the four guys with their beers all saying yep, 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 and then Boomhauer thinking yep. That first drawing I did is pretty close to what you see at the beginning of King of the Hill.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I'd already done a first draft of the pilot and the drawings, and Fox met with me to talk about doing a show to follow The Simpsons. I kind of pitched that as, that these four guys would be kind of like a Greek chorus originally was the way it was going to be, and yeah, it started as those four guys and the drawing of the family and just a drawing of Bobby I had. The network had a bunch of notes, and I was off doing the Beavis and Butthead movie, and actually my management just suggested that I get someone in to help out and take it on to the next level.
I loved Mike's script. I thought it was very original and very funny, and it had this authentic world that I hadn't seen on TV, and Mike's writing style and his drawing style are kind of a piece, and they're really based on real life and observing great details in people. And I pretty much knew that I could fix what the executives' issues were. And that once I was done fixing them, we would have this terrific show, which was a character comedy, but with realistic tone, filled with characters that you hadn't seen before. I grew up in New York City, and my father, Aaron Daniels, I guess I get my sense of humor from. He grew up in rural Massachusetts during World War II, and then was raising my family in New York in the 70s. So there was kind of a culture clash there that Hank is sort of going through too. So I signed on to rewrite it, and first thing I did was go to Texas to talk to Mike.
This is Texas.
I wanted to figure out his vision for the show and also see what he was observing. With that kind of observational humor, you got to find out what is actually being observed. So he took me all around Austin and showed me all the neighborhoods that he thought Hank would live in, and the different little propane dealers around that area, hypermarts and stuff like that. So I got an idea of what the place was like, and then I went back to LA and I started to address the script. And basically, I didn't really want to change Hank that much, so what I did was change everything that was around Hank. Started with Dale and turned him into a kind of right-wing conspiracy nut. Then I also added a wife that was cheating on him really obviously, but he couldn't see it. That led to having Joseph, which was good because he was a friend for Bobby to talk to. Then also I gave Hank a really unreasonable, unnurturing dad, so that you felt that, well, at least Hank's doing better than his dad. Then I added Luann, which was basically to make more out of Hank's discomfort with sexuality. So basically all those changes kind of moderated Hank and pushed him more towards a good old boy, and that was the basic rewrite.
After Greg had done the rewrite, we had this idea of doing a pencil test to just so they could see animation.
The point of it was to give the network something to see on its feet, something that looked like the show, because in animation it takes 9 months to get a whole episode back, and so we couldn't do a pilot and then wait another 9 months and do a show if they picked it up. We had to, it was all resting on this 2 or 3 minute pencil test.
We were going to do a section from the script, and then we decided to just do a thing of Hank actually pitching himself directly to John Matoyan, who's the president of the network at the time.
Well, Mr. Matoyan, I'd say y'all got the makings of a damn good cartoon here. I mean, you got my wife, Peggy, and I'm real proud of my boy, Bobby, because he, well, 'cause he's my boy. And Luann's living with us now. She'll probably be real good for ratings, the way she dresses. Of course, I got my neighbors, too. Dale, Bill, and old Boomhauer.
And it worked like a dream. And they picked the show up based on the script and the pencil test.
Oh, and I got some ideas for advertisers if you put us on the air. Trucks, pork rinds, we eat a lot of those in our house, barbecue sauce, Jensen's blood dough balls, that's a fishing bait, you don't want to eat those.
The casting of an animated show, I think, is really important and kind of underrated. The voice really drives a lot of it, a lot more than people think for an animated show. To make animation really work, it's just important to make the look of the character and the voice match. Make it sound like the voice is coming out of that character. And the first time I thought it really came together on King of the Hill was actually Dale, Johnny Hardwick doing Dale.
You know what they say Ford stands for, don't you? It stands for Fix It Again, Tony.
Well, I was hired as a writer on this show. I kind of sat in on a bunch of auditions, and they had seen some tapes of me. I used to do stand-up, and Mike said he might be interested in me doing a voice. And I kind of locked into this Dale guy. That was sort of the only thing I wanted to audition for after, because in the pilot script, he's just talking about the government, and I was really sort of into that myself.
Hey, I know what's wrong with your truck. It's your quote-unquote pollution controls. I heard on talk radio you don't even need them. They're just an egghead government plot.
I kind of locked into this guy after looking at him of this sort of William S. Burroughs sort of thing. And sort of like a guy who thinks he's sort of Nicholson-like he thinks he's really cool. So I just kind of started going from that attitude, and it just kind of, I guess it worked.
The casting process was pretty different for actors because one of the things we did was we never looked at the actors. And we had these cutouts of Mike's drawings of the characters, and I would basically put the cutout right in front, so I would watch the cutout and listen to the actor, which I think some of them found a little odd.
Guess who? I have something special planned for tonight. Bobby! Mom!
This process was very different because they closed their eyes. They did not want to look at us. They looked at the sketches on the wall while we spoke, and they didn't record the auditions at all, which was something that I'm not used to. I mean, I'm used to going in and being put on tape, and then somebody who I've never met hires me. This was purely on being in the moment and seeing how it worked, with the face.
I remember Pam came in and read when Greg and I were both there, and she got up and just had this kind of like, yeah, like we said, oh, that's great. So, yeah, right, great, yeah, now you guys will call someone else. Yeah, see you later.
I just gave him a few and I said, pick one.
Yo, Sharice, you Stone Cold Fox, what up?